G'day friends and fans, welcome to Dave Talk Stuff. And today we're going to talk about the hidden truth why the Daily Wire attacks the Redpill movement. Of course, I think a lot of people know who the Daily Wire is. It is started as by a bunch of clout chasers, and none have been more famous and infamous for chasing clout than It's All About the Benjamins Shapiro. You remember he latched on to Stephen Crowder, pretending to be the poor Jew, the poor misunderstood Jew, the I don't have money, I can't hold out my yarmulke and get money, and lo and behold, he turns out he can. But actually, before he became the famous leech of Stephen Crowder's fame, he was, of course, leeching off Andrew Breitbart. This guy has spent his entire life vine swinging. Many would say he's a feminist. Well, sort of. I don't think he's a female supremacist, but he's a Zionist. And where one, there's a lot of the other. Now, of course, to elevate himself, he, of course, hires those who could bring him more clout, more influence. So you're really starting to see the truth, I hope, behind the truth about the Daily Wire. Now, it is everything that CNN Plus wanted to be. But CNN just didn't have the reputation with the people with money. And, of course, we're talking about subscribers here, where Ben Shapiro paints himself as a moderate. And one of his most famous hit piece, Shotguns, is Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh, of course, talks about anything and everything. I'm not going to tear the man down. He does it to himself time and time again. And the one thing where people on the left and the right can agree, the man is inconsistently consistent with his basic, I find a cause. If it's left-wing, I attack it. If it's right-wing, but it's not, doesn't involve Israel, I attack it. The man has no other politics. All right, everything else for Matt Walsh is a grift. Same with Ben Shapiro. There's no consistency. Now, the Daily Wire's attack on the manosphere began in early 2025, and it's a ideological rift where the Daily Wire has been specifically attacking the Redpill community. Not so much. Now, this conflict stems from a Judean Christian conservative value system, which means if you don't marry, if you are not family orientated, you must be rejected. This is clout chasing and gatekeeping, right? Matt Walsh is the most loudest of the hit pieces, where he's a primary attack method is to paint the manosphere as either woke or poisonous. Which is it? Is it woke or is it poison? Is it nihilism or is it discouragement of marriage? Or is it men going their own way? And Matt Walsh, however, argues that it mirrors feminism, where it focuses on grievances than building stable lives, which is an absolute lie. Now, I've researched the 4B movement, and the reason why many Korean men mirror this and has spread around the world is you win when you give feminists what they want, because eventually they self-destruct. Matt Walsh is so paper thin in his analysis on everything. He has the subtle nuance of a children's book. He has the IQ of a children's book. I'm not talking about the author, I'm talking about the book, right? He appeals to the lowest common denominator. Remember, he is trying to conserve the system. He's not talking about the rigged system, right? He's defending the system. He claims that you're the harm to society by being defeatist, that you just have to man up and you'll have a good marriage, just like Matt Walsh and his bought and paid for wife, just like Ben Shapiro and his bought and paid for wife. Yeah. Now, of course, in the marriage debate, which I think was hosted by Walsh and Knowles, they both took turns attacking MGTOW as a bunch of crybaby defeatists. And then, of course, in other videos, they went after Andrew Tate, basically focusing on the allegations of rape and human trafficking, without even looking at the fact that, it is, right, that he claims that anything, right, that is not virtuous, that is, if you have any lifestyle outside of the mainstream conservative Zionist method and don't worship the all-holy state of Israel, you must be woke or poisonous. Which is it? Are they woke or are they poisonous? Because the woke is poison, but it's poison it's a left-wing system, whereas how could woke be right-wing? Are they poisonous to right-wing or are they woke? What? Because they don't actually go beyond the surface level. They find something to criticize, right? Now, the Daily Wire claims to be trad-conservatives. Really? They're out of touch. They're just 20 years behind the Democrats. They are just on the edge of, well, we can have 6-week abortions. We can have no-fault divorce. They never, right now, I guarantee you, while the money is there, they will stick to supporting the system, right? But the Daily Wire personalities have increasingly distanced themselves from their past claims. So again, the Daily Wire is nothing but CNN plus, okay? It is nothing but clout chasing. It's nothing but constant criticism of anything, does not support their very narrow version of ideology. They would attack me as a purveyor of pornography. They would say that I'm a pimp. They would, not a pimp, sorry, the pimp lifestyle, which means I'm incompatible with the conservative movement because I'm not virtuous. Now, the reality is, Matt Walsh is J.K. Rowling. Well, he wishes he was J.K. Rowling in the fact that he is a trans-exclusionary feminist. Remember, he's all about the traditional marriage, being the supportive husband, the primary breadwinner. Now, he claims to be a conservative. I say he's a conservative. He's a faucon, a grifter, whose primary focus is clout chasing. And his primary tool is a broad range of right-wing issues: gender identity, race, religious, social values, and often is seen as nothing more than a professional troll and an agent provocateur for any genuine inquiry. He has only touched surface level issues. When it comes to LGBTQ, he is very, very, let's say, transphobic, whereas all he does is want to compare medical transition to childhood and sexual abuse, rather than dealing with it from a human rights issue where you are taking away the child's identity and living vicariously for your child. He does not address the mental health issues behind trans and the people who push trans ideology, particularly liberal white women who want to live vicariously through their sons and virtue signal to their Zionist overlords. He does not want to address the trans issue, because if you do, you start getting into the religious movements behind trans and start touching on the Zionists in New York, who Mount Zion does trans surgeries on kids. But you won't hear Matt Walsh talk about how Jews created trans surgery in Nazi Germany, right? And all the experiments there. Though you often hear conflicting information about that. And that's all I have to say. But Matt Walsh has been accused of white supremacy. Yes, he has talked on the Great Replacement Theory, even calling it a fact. But when it comes to the white nationalist movement, no, he has actually denounced it, claiming they're anti-Zionist, racists. He has actually never gone after black racism whatsoever in America today. He just wants to deal with trolling those about diversity, equity, inclusion, which is a easy target and another way to get a right-wing audience glued to your television, is to basically pander to their fears about DEI, but never actually go deep into the biggest proponents of DEI, BlackRock, a company founded by 9 Jewish financiers, and has able to get around DEI, but through the fact that they count Jews as a minority, because it's a global minority, and a global minority within the United States. But they never deal with the fact that everybody can be broken down into minority groups, right? But no, they lump all white people together when it suits them. He's just as bad as the left. Now, of course, he's gone after the theoretical fascists, that is the left-wing fascist movement, left-wing authoritarian extremist group, which Antifa is in fact fascist, right? That's an easy way, of course, to get young men, particularly young college men, who are constantly harassed by these fascists on campus to either become gay, trans, or kowtow to BLM. But the thing is, he never actually goes after BLM's scams, dictatorial plans, the breaking up of America, or the fact that these groups want to enact their own colour revolution through using the black community. He is this is my main criticism, he's paper thin. He is a grifter, a clout chaser. He harps on about the same issues over and over again to basically get clicks, right? Now, he's been attacked as a misogynist. So is anybody who's a Christian, but he's a contradiction. He's a contrarian Christian, right? He's more, he gets attacked that he does not love one's neighbour. Well, actually, loving your neighbour means they're your neighbour, not your occupant, right? And that, somebody breaks into your house is not your neighbour, nor a legal occupant. Christianity allowed for warfare and in defense of one's homeland, allowed for refugees, but as a temporary status. Remember, they have changed and dictated language, and Matt Walsh will not deal with the nuances of Christianity. Instead, he goes on vitriolic attacks and uses demeaning language, talking about how the left is not Christian, but he never goes after the authoritarian source of the migrant movement, and that was the French Jacobins, the Freemasons and Jews from the French Revolution, who were eventually forced to leave France, except for a few, including the poem on the Statue of Liberty, came from a French Jew, a feminist who never actually lived in the United States. So Matt never actually says, hey, wait a minute, these aren't Christian values. These are Judean values. No, he is a blender of this false Christianity where, this cuckdom where you are a passive observer and a fatalist, right? He is a fundamental fatalist, right? His video about what is a woman is what made him famous, right? But he is, of course, facing significant backlash over the fact that he thinks workplace sick days, and while he, of course, has a flexible work arrangement where he comes in, records videos, has a team of script writers, it's easy for him to criticize from the point of luxury and talk about families, and yet he attacks one of the most fundamentals of industrialized slavery, and that is the fact that increasingly we have less family time, less family unity, and he attacks it from the point of we're just not man enough. And again, most of the time, he is just too busy clout chasing and being surface level, where he does videos to attack gun bans, the inconsistency of left-wing politicians. I mean, really, I don't know why he can get so many views for doing stuff that slop tubers do better, and but again, of course, it's because he sucks the Zionist cock, that he is Ben Shapiro's little puppy, and the phocons of New York and other big blue cities love this guy, right? These are your Adam Kinslingers, your Bushes, the work with the blue no matter who crowd, who basically go along to get along and never really oppose the left-wing agenda because it puts them out of business. To say that he's a cuck and a grifter is an understatement, but it's a dangerous world we live in when surface-level liberals, right? These academics, these self-anointed guardians of the galaxy, right, pretend that they're protecting something, that they're conserving something, right? The values he claims to conserve. Really? He does not conserve the values of Germany. He does not conserve the values of England. No, he wants conserving the values of post-World War II modernism, which includes feminism, mass migration, the disintegration of the family. But his whole grift is claiming to be opposing the white replacement, where in fact he just uses this to take out his personal frustrations on life, right? That he can never be as good as, or as big as, or as rich as his boss, right? So he does the grift, what every cultist or wannabe cultist does, is that he claims, I have the real history of the United States. I have the real history behind slavery. I have the real history behind this. I'm exposing Antifa and all that. Or Rene Good's narrative has collapsed. But the thing is, his opinion pieces always come out the day after everybody else's. And nobody seems to notice that. That Matt Walsh is nothing more than a professional t-shirt seller and really, who wants to pay $74 for a Matt Walsh t-shirt? Come on. Or, really. I'm not knocking the man for wanting to make a living. I'm talking about the fact that he is not actually offering you any advice, any information that you don't get better from other people. But I could rattle them off if you want. But I think you know who they are. and what the people stand for in the MGTOW movement. And I'm just saying that, you know, whether you're MGTOW, Redpill, anti-feminist, Matt Walsh is your enemy. If you're pro anything, you know, if you say fuck the Middle East, you're immediately, you know, oh, I don't want to. If you don't want to defend Israel, you know, or anything like that, you're immediately his enemy. He does not understand nuance. Okay, and you know, again, he won't take any genuine criticism, so he won't take anything on board about Israel, or, you know, like, and he can't separate Zionism from Israel and understand that Zionism is just another collective, and they all stem from, you know, liberalism, socialism, communism, fascism, Nazism, Zion. I think I said Zionism already. I'm trying to think of what's this new I suppose it is new wave feminism. They all stem from some form of collective, and Matt Walsh is about as, you know, I suppose even this kingdom of God bullshit that he allegedly believes in. No, it's a puritanical counter-human movement. You know, it's anti-human to strip you of your identity, but he's an anti-individualist, right? He sells cuck Christianity, that is submission to a single ideology, a single narrow view of virtue, right? I am of the opinion that Matt Walsh and many others sell us a false bill of goods in order to conform to them. That is no better than feminism. So, yeah, he's a male feminist. And what do we say about male feminists around here? Yeah, you're a sexual predator, Matt Walsh. Now, thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and please support the channel. I should have, right? Here's what we think about Matt Walsh around here. Shut up! Sorry for being so late with the shut ups. But, yeah. So please support the channel. You can support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy my merch. All my links in the link tree, description below, or in my profile, of course. If you scan the QR screen on the phone, you get the link tree on your phone. Thank you. See you in the next video, and bye for now.